Canadian card collector here, and welcome back to day 604 of your daily deck review. And the deck that we're taking a look at today is part of a 2-deck set, and it is the Smoke and Mirrors times Lotusinhand playing cards. So, no further ado, let's take a look and see what we get. As you can see, we've got this 2-pack set here, box here, and on the front here, you got the Lotusinhand logo, the Dan and Dave logo, and it says Lotusinhand times Dan and Dave. And these are the Echo and Smoke and Mirrors collaboration deck here. Just a part of one of the many Smoke and Mirrors decks that Dan and Dave make there. And these are printed in Taiwan by Decks Playing Card Co. These are 2 decks included inside. They're the deck stock, varnish number 3. But these are produced by Taiwanese cardistry brand, the Lotusinhand. Because these are, obviously, got the logo there. And these are limited to 1,000 sets. So there's only 1,000 of these available. And we'll take a little look at the box here. So it's pretty much just this matte black finish here, with just that kind of holographic design there on the front there. But now if we get into the inside of the tuck box, take the little sleeve off. On the interior here, we got the 2 decks here. So we got the light smoke and the dark mirror hues here. So today, I guess we're just going to take a look at the dark, the dark mirror. So we're going to take a look at the Dark Mirror edition today. So we'll just put this one back. And it has a nice little foam insert, so the cards don't move around inside the box. Oh, and the interior has like an inlay of the hollow foil there. And now we'll just slide that back on. Put that off to the side. And I guess we're going to take a look at the Dark Mirror edition. So I got to just crack these open here. Okay, now that we got that off, as we'd see, we got the matte black finished talk box there, and then I haven't seen these cards before, but the Lotusinhand makes the Echo deck, and this is what this is kind of based off of there. So it's their iconic Echo deck there, mixed in kind of like a Dan and Dave, kind of like Smoke and Mirrors design there. So we got that holographic ring there on the front. There, like the Echo design. Then you got the Dan and Dave Smoke and Mirrors kind of little logo there in the middle. And on one side it's Echo, kind of like upside down and right side up. So either way, it's the same there. And then on the other side it says Smoke and Mirrors. On the bottom, you got the Lotusinhand and the Dan and Dave logo. And this is like Lotusinhand, time Dan and Dave, printed in Taiwan by Decks Playing Co. And then the Lotusinhand's website. On the back, you pretty much got the same design as the front of the talk box, is that Echo design with the Dan and Dave logo there. And then there's no seal for the cards. And on the top it says Dan and Dave. And then on the tuck flap, it looks like you got a bunch of information. It says Dan and Dave, Smoke and Mirrors. And just some copyright information there. Nothing on the inner tuck flaps. Now we take the cards out of the box. On the inside of the tuck box, it's that matte black finish. Nothing too crazy there. But now let's take a look at the tuck box. Time to take a look at the cards. And on the inside here, we have that dark mirror hue here. So it's that holographic design there with that Dan and Dave logo inside. And it has the standard white border going around there. And if we go to flip it over, the same design in both directions. There, and this is that Taiwan kind of stock and finish. So it will handle slightly different than your classic United States Playing Company finish. They look on a bicycle deck or something, so they will feel a little bit different. But now for the cards here. Here we got the Ace of Spades. We're starting off there. No jokers right away, but the Ace of Spades. And it looks like it has custom font or pretty standard font, I guess. But then you got that custom Dan and Dave logo there in the middle. There's the D&D and that holographic kind of design there. And then you got, okay, it looks like every card has that same design. So you got the slightly custom font there in the corners, but then the rest of the cards are exactly the same with that Dan and Dave logo there on them. Even the court cards are exactly the same. And then even the diamonds have that Dan and Dave logo there. So it's nothing like too crazy going on. But still a pretty nice design though. There. You don't usually see too many decks like repeat the design all the way throughout there. So you got slightly custom, I guess, I don't think it's even that much custom in the corners for the suits or anything. Which is the Dana Dave logo all the way throughout. I was not expecting that, but still pretty nice. I kind of like it, honestly. And then the last two cards in the deck, we got this little card here, which says the copyright information, just like the tuck flap. And then you got, this must be a little Lotusinhand Hands, kind of little extra little ad card kind of thing there. Little picture card. But now that we took a look at the cards, I guess we'll test the handling. There. Well, it seems to have some pretty smooth springs. They got that nice flex to it. There. Like a medium stock. Slightly more closer to like a thicker stock. But still pretty smooth though. And you're gonna get, and then for the fans, you got that nice shiny holographic fan there. And then here's the phrases. Pretty decent Pharaoh. And then you got that nice giant fan, even more shinier than the regular fan. But overall, they seem to be handling fantastic. There's no real issues. They do feel slightly different just because it's obviously a different stock of finish. So they will slightly feel different. But overall, I'm impressed with the deck. There's not like too much crazy going on, but you don't always need craziness in a deck of cards. You know, sometimes simplistic is pretty nice, even though it has that crazy shiny back design there. But overall, yeah, like I said, the handling is pretty nice. And these are actually a stunning deck of cards there. Dan and Dave always makes fantastic decks there. And it's collaborated with someone that I'm not like too familiar with. But I'm going to have to start checking out some of their decks here in the near future. There. Then you got the faces here, which are pretty standard, like, well, for like the corner suits there, the font there in the corners. But it has that Dan and Dave holographic logo all on every single card, which is kind of unique. You don't usually see repeating patterns too much. But I guess with that being said, I hope you enjoyed. And this has been day 604 of a Daily Deck Review. And this has been the Dark Mirror edition of the Lotusinhand Hands and Dan and Dave collaboration, the Echo Times Smoke and Mirrors playing cards. And I'm the Canadian Collector signing out. That's the video. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.